I'm officially a college student! Monsters University, not directed by Pete Docter this time, but by Dan Scanlon, and is the prequel to my favourite Pixar movie, Monsters, Inc. So, Monsters University takes place a decade before the events of Monsters, Inc., where after a sort of scare floor at Monsters Incorporated, he dreams of becoming the greatest scarer ever. And it's basically the story of how Monsters, Inc. Came to be. It's Mike and Sully's time in education at Monsters U itself, how they started out as rivals, got kicked out of the scare program, but then teamed up with Uzma Kappa, won the scare games, but Mike didn't quite get what he wanted, but he still found something else, and ultimately how Mike and Sully became best pals. I know I've repeated over and over again that Monsters, Inc. is my all-time favourite Pixar movie, because it literally is. I've always absolutely loved it, and have emotional attachment to it. I literally cry 5 times whenever I watch it. It's from its wonderful, heartwarming story to its timeless characters, to its amazing animation, and to its beautiful message of love being more powerful than fear. And it still holds up today, 16 years later. I'm so proud I reviewed it on my channel last year to celebrate its 15th anniversary. So naturally, when it was confirmed Pixar were making a prequel to my favourite Pixar movie, you can guess how hyped I got. Pixar have announced a prequel to Monsters, Inc. I can't believe it! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, finally! Whoa! Whoa! Yes! That's exactly how I reacted, and Monsters, Inc. is my mum and my sister's #1 Pixar movie too, so they were just as hyped as I. We just couldn't freaking wait to return to the universe of Monsters, Inc. Again. Though this movie sadly came out at the time when people were beginning to think Pixar was now mortal and not as immortal as they used to be, as they made the terrible Cars 2. And I know a lot of people didn't like Brave, but I personally love it and am a Brave defender. As I said in my Brave review, I think that redeemed Pixar after Cars 2. I don't think Brave deserves the hate, though I completely agree with the hate for Cars 2. And Monsters University, yeah, it got generally positive to average reviews, though the critics still considered it to be one of Pixar's weaker films, and while I'm not denying that it's without question an inferior movie to Monsters, Inc., Monsters, Inc. is all around the far superior, infinitely better movie, but Monsters University still has a lot going for it. So I still think it's a near excellent prequel to Monsters, Inc. My mum and my sister came out really happy with it, and it really put us in a good mood. So I totally understand if you're not a fan of Monsters University, but this is going to be another defense of a Pixar movie which I believe is nowhere near as bad as everyone says it is. For starters, I love how they portrayed the younger Mike and Sully. It was a stroke of genius to ask Billy Crystal and John Goodman to reprise their roles, as they hadn't voiced the characters in 12 years, and yet they voiced them so pitch perfectly as if they'd only voiced them yesterday. It was absolutely delightful hearing them back in the roles, and it's so interesting how Mike was the one who tried the hardest, who wanted to be a scarer more than Sully, and yet didn't end up getting there. In the end, it was Sully who ended up being the scarer, and Mike who ended up just being his scare assistant in Monsters, Inc. As Mike, he's a real bookworm. He is determined more than anyone to be a scarer, despite everyone bringing him down, and they keep telling him he's not good enough, and because he simply lacks a natural ability of scaring. He's just not scary. He's cute despite having the knowledge. He doesn't have the appearance for it, but he doesn't care. He strives for his goals no matter what, and it's great that they actually made Mike the main character and central focus of Monsters U, whereas he was just the secondary protagonist in Monsters, Inc. to flesh him out even more. And I have my cuddly Mike here. Had him ever since Monsters, Inc. Came out. And it was fascinating to me to see how Sully started out as a selfish arsehole, but had to learn through Mike to grow into a decent character. Sully's completely laid back. He believes he doesn't need to put any effort into scaring because he's naturally talented at it. He could just do it. And because his family name, Sullivan, is a enormous name in the monster world, he is automatically well respected. If he thought he was a gentle big teddy bear in Monsters, Inc. Well, he isn't quite like that for the majority of this film, and I just love all of the members of Oozma Kappa, our supporting cast that help Mike and Sully triumph at the scare games. Squishy and his mum are my two favourites. I think Squishy is actually voiced by the director of The Good Dinosaur, a fun bit of tribute for you there. And his mum's the funniest character in the movie. She's amazingly lovable. How she keeps calling in on the Oozma Kappa's secret meetings. But the most interesting member of the team is Don, who's the oldest member at Monsters University. He's the oldest student. He's in his 40s, and he's trying to earn a late in life degree. And so then you have the two-headed guy and Art, who's apparently been to jail, when he says, I can't go back to jail. So they all have, they're all three-dimensional and all stand out, and they're basically underdogs who have to prove their talents at the very end, which is very relatable for all nervous students starting at college. And the best character in the movie, in my humble opinion, is Dean Hardscrabble. Dean Hardscrabble is freaking awesome. Helen Mirren is absolutely terrific at voicing her. She gives her a stern and pure intimidating presence. And yeah, Dean Hardscrabble, she's the strict head of the scaring program, and broke the all-time scare record once. And she is just a all-around amazing character. If only she was in the movie more, I think this movie would have been better received. And the campus looks of the university itself, not only is it marvelously designed from a production standpoint, but it looks so cozy. This movie is so beautifully animated. The animation may not quite be as excellent as Monsters, Inc., but this movie is still gorgeous to look at, and the movie, despite being a prequel, never overly relies on nostalgia, which is a common weakness with prequels. Thankfully, it still has plenty of originality and a new cast of characters in it, and even though it's paying homage to Monsters, Inc., it never rehashes the plot. It tells its own story, thank God, and in the scenes where they visit the scare floor feel like something special. they perfectly recaptured my nostalgia and the cameos from the original units, from Roz to the Abominable Snowman to young Mr. Waternoose. It's nostalgia done sparingly and in a good way. There's old and new for old and new fans of Monsters Inc. I think kids will love Monsters University and will be intrigued to go back to Monsters Inc. as some of the kids who watched Monsters University in summer 2013 wouldn't have even been born yet when Monsters Inc. Was released. And the movie, I admit, isn't perfect by any stretches. I can still think of a few gripes I have with it. I think where Monsters U falters the most is the villains. The villains are Team Omega Raw. They are just generic, boring high school bullies that we've seen in every other college comedy before. They don't hold a candle to Randall or Mr. Waternoose, two of Pixar's finest antagonists, in my opinions. However, I was gripped to see Randall's turn to the dark side in this movie. So glad Steve Buscemi reprised his role voicing Randall. It was great to hear him again, but they do so little with Randall in this movie. The potential to make his turn to the dark side tragic and personal was lost here. The only reason he does is because he loses to Sully in the final round of the Scare Games, when he's like, "That's the last time I lose to you, Sullivan." That's it. That's all we get of his turn. I'm sorry, Pixar, but that's underwhelming. You could have thought of a more personal reason. And the first two acts of Monsters University, they're fun. They're just not as groundbreaking as Monsters Inc. They don't have the edge or the heart. Boo's absence was immensely missed. That her absence, I know she wasn't born at the timeline of this movie, but her absence really took away some potential heart this movie could have had. But back to the positives. The third act of this movie is the best part by far. It's a brave, sincere, and emotional finale that really pushes the boundaries. When we think Mike's won the Scare Game, the movie wisely doesn't end there, because it needs to tell the story of why Mike isn't a scarer in Monsters Inc. So it turns out Sully cheated in the Scare Games, so Mike would have just automatically won. Mike is very understandably hurt by this, and breaks into the human world and tries to scare some human kids but is unsuccessful. And Mike and Sully, they just sit by a lake and have a heart-to-heart conversation about how they're now friends, and how Mike finally accepts that he's not scary, and he's never going to be a scarer, but it's still a happy ending despite that, because he had a go at something else and found he had other talents. And that is such a ambitious message to put in a family movie. You know, that's a rare message that we should see more often. You have to be naturally talented as a profession to actually guess it. It's saying you don't always get what you want in life, but focus on what you are good at. I think the people who hate this movie really should remember that about this movie. I mean, had the first and second act lived up to the third act of this movie could have been a masterpiece. But as it stands, Monsters University is certainly isn't my favourite Pixar film, nor does it live up to Monsters Inc. But it doesn't have to. It's still a great prequel and a setup to my favourite Pixar movie of all time, and it's a very heartwarming and fun movie too. Me and my mum and my sister always have a good time whenever we watch it. I give Monsters University 4 stars out of 5. Would I have preferred a sequel rather than a prequel? Of course, but I still really enjoyed Monsters U. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and what do you think of Monsters University? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and on Instagram, and I'll see you all next time when I review the Pixar classic Inside Out. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.